Welcome to Cox Connections, a link between you, our customers, and what's happening in the community we share. I'm Kim Stanley, Vice President of Operations for Cox Roanoke. The entrepreneurial spirit is growing in Southwest Virginia. For more than 50 years, Junior Achievement has been tending the business garden, so to speak, teaching young people the value of free enterprise. Laura Elliott is the Vice President of Education for Southwest Virginia Junior Achievement. And Alicia Starkey, Cox Roanoke Customer Care Supervisor, is a JA volunteer. They're here to tell us about JA, the 20th anniversary of the Business Hall of Fame, and a special speaker who is coming to the Valley. Thank you for joining us, ladies.
Thank you.
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Well, first of all, why don't you tell us a little bit about Junior Achievement?
Great. Well, Junior Achievement is an organization which is actually started in 1919 nationally, and in Roanoke, in the Roanoke Valley area, it's 53 years old now. And we are an organization which trains volunteers to go into the classroom to use fabulous materials to teach students about business and economics. Junior Achievement is a program which has 3 different pillars that we are based on. They are entrepreneurship, financial literacy, and workforce readiness. And the great thing is it really helps students understand their futures and to understand how the business world works. And we hopefully have been doing this long enough that we are really well established and that we've made a big difference in our community.
You talk about going into the classroom. Do you specialize in a certain area, or is it elementary through high school?
Actually, we go from kindergarten through 12th grade,
okay.
And we have programming that our volunteers go in and do, and they are trained to do it, and so they have great materials that they do hands-on activities with the students that really stimulate their interest in what's going on in the class and also just make it fun for them, and so they're learning while they're having a great time.
Great, and you mentioned volunteers.
Yes.
So I assume you're dependent on these volunteers to help you.
Absolutely. They are the very, very base of what Junior Achievement does. If we didn't have our volunteers going to the classroom, we really wouldn't be able to do what we do. And the wonderful thing about a volunteer is that not only are they going into the class to teach the students the materials that they have, but they also are sharing their life experience, and that's what makes everything real for the students, because they're hearing about a job that the person is doing themselves, and it also gives the business person the opportunity to really share about their business and hopefully plant seeds in their heads about things that the students might be able to do later in their lives.
I know when I was in school, I loved JA because it was actually bringing somebody who was out there doing it and relating everything that you're learning, you know, to the real world.
Exactly.
Because sometimes as a student, it's hard to make that connection. Alicia, you volunteer. You're on the board for JA. Tell us a little bit about why you volunteer. And
I am. About a year ago, I was asked to represent Cox on Junior Achievement's board, and pretty much a board member really helps JA from a strategic planning perspective. We also help with funding, the fundraisers, and also any policies that need to be changed or made, or things like that. So that's kind of how I got involved with JA. But last year I had the opportunity to go into the classroom for the first time, and I taught 2 classes at Clearbrook Elementary. I taught 2 second grade classes, and it really was a really good experience for me because I got out of the office and really kind of got in the trenches to teach the material to the kids.
very exciting.
Yes.
That's great. It's rewarding, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
Well, let's talk about the Business Hall of Fame.
Great.
And why don't you tell us, Laura, a little bit about that and when is it? And I think you have a great guest speaker as well.
We do. Well, the Business Hall of Fame this year will be on November 1st. It's at the Hotel Roanoke. The evening begins at 6:30. It's black tie optional. There'll be a fabulous dinner and a wonderful speaker. And the Business Hall of Fame was started in order for us to really honor some people in our community and area that have done a great deal in business. Not only are we honoring their work as business people, but we're also honoring the work that they do in their community and the contributions they've made. And so over the years, for the last 20 years, we have now, this year will be the 42nd and 43rd people who will be honored. And the people honored this year are Anna Lawson, who is a social entrepreneur. Not only has she done a great deal in the community, but she also has been a lecturer at Hollins and has great Sorry. Okay. She has had a great experience working with Hollins, and she also is a graduate there. And she also was one of the founding people who started Valley Bank. Okay. Then the other person we're honoring this year is Marshall Hahn, who is the former president of Virginia Tech. Mm-hmm. And he really began the movement that put tech on the ground that they are now. And so he really did a fantastic job of promoting the school and really expanding it into what it is today. Then he also has served as the CEO and president of Georgia Pacific Paper Company. Over the years, we have had a group of people come together who are the ones who really choose who we do this. So JA is not choosing these folks. We have a group of entrepreneurs from the Valley or from the area who serve on this committee, and they do a wonderful job for us. Now, our speaker this year is really fantastic, and his connections with Junior Achievement are great too. Larry Farrell is the owner of the Farrell Company, which is a company in 22 countries across the world, and they really promote entrepreneurship and also do research in it. And he has been a writer for a number of years and is really an internationally known author. He's written 3 books on entrepreneurship and has a 4th one coming out this year. What he's going to be doing in the connection that we have with him for Junior Achievement is our national offices realized through reading his books what a great guy he was, and so they asked him to help them develop 2 programs, which we now have for students in Junior Achievement that were developed by Larry Farrell.
Great. Well, because I want to be sure to make sure that our viewers, can anyone attend this?
Yes.
Okay. And then how do they register?
They will contact the JA office, which is on Brambleton, and we can give you the phone number if you want it, and talk with us. We can get them all set up for that. Okay.
And I believe we'll have the phone number
Great.
and everything on the screen. But this was great information. You guys are doing so much in the community, especially to help our youth, to develop them and prepare them for what we call the real world.
Right.
So, Laura, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for all that you're doing with Junior Achievement. Alicia, thank you for joining us and for being a Cox volunteer out there in the community.
Absolutely.
All right. Still to come on Cox Connections. You know the name, but do you really know what they do? We'll learn more about the United Way after this break.